Okay, we're on Daf Tes Zion, and it came in Agav about Nido. We had the whole sugya yesterday about 14 halachas on Daf Yudalid, and went on to Tes Vav about Ovel, and brought in also Menud and Mitzorah. And that because of that, we go into a new sugya that's all about Nido, Cherem, excommunication. There are halachas about it, and this whole sugya are halachas. And nowadays, it isn't too relevant because people don't listen, and it's only a Nido for but it doesn't work nowadays too much. But really, there's the way it's supposed to be is that when someone is put into nidui, so everyone is obligated to the lachas of nidui, and they have to. He himself is also mechuyev too. I just there was a case here just to point out that one time in the Ramban shul, someone was put into nidui by a certain bezdin, and the person came to talk to Rav Nevsal jumped away. He jumped out of his dalarams. Until it was taken care of. So there is really such a thing, but people don't listen to it. That's a problem. But it really is a very big call of bezdin to make a nidui. So the Gemara starts. Amar Rava, on Daf Tes Zayin Amar Aleph. It's in Shulchan Aruch, all these things. This is hilchos nidui. It isn't just a social thing that people decided to do. There's a halachas of nidui. Amar Rava. When someone has to come to court, so the bezdin sends a shliach bezdin, and they summons him to court. Techsiv, Meshamtina Ledina. One word over there. Techsiv. So the most, as you see that I just highlighted the titles, and each time the one means the pasuk. That's not the pasuk. The pasuk is going to be unhighlighted. So just the Kota wrote very many over here, and it says, how do you know this? It means a pasuk. How do you know this? It means a pasuk. And all those highlighted things are going to be halachas over here. How do you know that you send a shliach bezdin to summon somebody to the Torah? That Moshe, when he wanted to call Dasan and Abiram, he sent a shliach. So it doesn't have to be the bezdin themselves, a shliach bezdin. And we just said that. We said the pasuk before also. It says that you could be summoned. But here it says another drasha. Some have different gears over here, but we'll just read it the way it says. That how do you know that you summon somebody to din? Over there, it said that Moshe called Korach, that he and all of his congregation should come together with Aaron. Just to read the pasuk over here, it says the pasuk over here is going to be the continuation of the pasuk. Vayama Moshe al Korach, Atav b'chol hadascha ayu lifnei Hashem. Right, that's the pasuk. Atav v'heim v'Aaron machor. That's the pasuk the Gemara is darshaning. So to get it all now, it says, how do you know that you're summoned to din? Because it says, Moshe said to Korach, you and your congregation should come. And you also have to say, you have to say that you're summoned to a big Talmud Chacham. You have to say to that you're not summoned, the bezdin summons you. You have to say the Gavra Rabbah, the big man who is summoning you. Over there, Hashem was going to be the Dayan, and he's going to judge who he wants to be, either Korach or Aaron. So you're summoned to Hashem. So when you come summon somebody to a bezdin, you also have to say who the Dayan is. Atu Planya, that you have to say also in the summons that who his what's the plaintiff? Who is the other one? Who is the one who is also who you are contending with? You and your congregation, and also Aaron. He didn't just say you come and your congregation. He said also Aaron, because you have to say who the baldover is, who the contendant is. Also, you have to the kavin zim. How do you know that you make a time? Someone said my offered a pshat. Of course, you have to say a time, or else he doesn't know when to come. But he offered a pshat that maybe he means to say that you don't summon him to come right away. You don't say come this minute.
Middle of lunch. You don't tell me to come right now.
You give him a time. When to come. I'm not sure if that's the pshat he was, but El Charis Pashi, I tell him a time, or else Azaz again know when to come. But you tell him a time. The siv that machor. But there it says you and your people should come tomorrow before Hashem. It says tomorrow machor. How do you know Zimna Basa Zimna? So the Mepharshim say it means that even if he didn't come, you don't put him in Chayim right away. You give him another. You send him another summons, 2 summons. Was Zimna Basa Zimna?
Second chance.
The second chance. The siv. So that's different pasuk altogether. The pasuk in Yirmiyah, Karu Sham, Paro Melech Mitzrayim Shaon, Hebria Moed. That's the pasuk. So the pasuk out there is talking about that Nebuchadnezzar was fighting. Babel was fighting with Mitzrayim. It's not talking about the old Paro in the Chumash. It's talking about Paro Melech Mitzrayim at the time of Nebuchadnezzar. So the pasuk over there means that they challenged him, and Paro didn't come. They called him to come, and he had him away. He missed the time. But the Drash seems to say over here that if he wasn't called, they called again. Karusham, they called him because he had Hever Moed, because he had missed the first time, so they called him again. I think that's how the Gemara is mentioning to learn out from there that you call somebody 2 times. Over there, it's talking about Paro and Nebuchadnezzar. It's not a din Torah, but you see that you give a second summons. Shaon is the tumultuous one. The Paro Melech Mitzrayim, who's the Shaon. He's like the one who's a person who makes the commotion. I think that's a Pashup. I don't know if the Gemara is doing that. The word Lishna also sort of been highlighted. The computer didn't let me. But the point is that if the person, the one that's summoning, if he is mitchatzef, he speaks with chutzpah to the shliach bezdin, and the shliach bezdin comes and tells the bezdin what he said, that's not lashon hara. It doesn't look like it isn't lashon hara that the shliach bezdin comes and says that he said this and this, because over here that's what happened. That Augustine and Abiram, they said that even if you're going to poke out our eyes, we're not going to come. No, no, and that's a chutzpah to speak to the Bezdin like the Moshe Rabbeinu like that. And how did Moshe Rabbeinu know? Because the Shliach Bezdin told him. He sent the Shliach Bezdin. He sent the Shliach to Augustine and Abiram, like it says before, Vayishlach Moshe, this pasuk, Vayishlach Moshe Likro. And here it says that they said back that even if you're going to poke out our eyes, we're not going to come. That's a big chutzpah to talk that way. And the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was told, that means that somebody told, the Shliach Bezdin told him, it's not considered lashon hara. How do you know they put somebody in Shamta? Shamta is like Nidu. There's Nidu, some kind of excommunication. Chayrim is going to be even worse. We'll see. We saw yesterday already that there's a difference between Nidu and Chayrim. We saw as far as teaching, as far as hiring somebody. Here also the Gemara is going to say that Chayrim is worse. How do you know you put him in Shamta? The Chsiv, Oru Meiroz. We're going to different pasuk now. We're going into Shoftim, and this is where it talks about the war against Sisera. And it says over there that Meiroz should be cursed. Oh, Meirose. What's Meirose? We'll see in a minute who Meirose is. But Meirose was cursed because he didn't come. The Am Yisrael was going to fight, and Meirose didn't come. And he's over there. It says that. So you see, there's a curse. The word Oru means like Oru, Yoshua. So there's a Shamta against the Meirose. So you see that because he didn't come, he didn't listen to the Dayan. So therefore, they're cursed. And also you have to say, Dachi Savra Gavra Rabba. Here the word Gavra, okay, I left out the word Gavra, I meant to also highlight that. On the side, I mean the yellow one, okay, we'll get that anyway, okay, Gavra Rabba. It does say on the side that it's a Gavra Planya over here, there's a Gavra, different gears over here, Gavra Planya, that you have to say in the Shamta, when you make the Chayrim, you don't have to say he's in the Chayrim, he's cursed. You have to say in the name of who? Who's the person who's doing it? Like over there, when they cursed Meirose, it says, T'chsiv Amar Malach Hashem. That Malach Hashem, Rashi says, is Baruch over there, that he's the one, he's the Malach Hashem, he's the Shliach of Hashem, so here also, whenever you're cursing somebody, you have to say, who said so? The Malach Hashem, the Rav, whoever the Rav it is, he's the one who's putting you in Chayrim. How do you do Chayrim? Besides doing Shamta, like I said before, there's also a Chayrim. How do you know that? That if necessary, you put him in Chayrim. Sorry. It says Oru, Orur. So it says 2 times. Before I said Oru, but then later on, right away, it says Oru, Orur. It means like a double curse. That means that it's worse. So Chayrim is worse than Shamta. And also, not only they put him in Chayrim, if Ezra wants to, they also put people who associate with him also in the Chayrim. Not only do they say he's in the Chayrim, they say also anybody who goes with his Dalaramas, eats with him, they put into Chayrim also anybody that eats with him or stands within his Dalaramas. Because over there it says Oru Oror Yoshver. That's the pasuk. The pasuk says over there Oru. That's to get the pasuk over here. We'll try to do it also again like we did before to get it highlighted in the pasuk. Where's that? It says Oru Meirose, Amar Malach Hashem, Oru Oror Yoshver. Then it's going to say Kila Bo Le'ezras Hashem. That's the pasuk. And the Gemara is going to dash now. From this pasuk, that not only do you put in Chayrim the person himself, but also you could those who are associated with him, because it says Yoshveha, Orur Yoshveha. Curse should be those who live are sitting over there. How do you know that you're also supposed to specify explicitly what sins he did? Means by putting him into Chayrim. Why? You have to say, again, like I said before, who said so? The Gavra Rabbah. And also, you can say the people who are also associating with him. And you have to say the sin, the reason why they're putting him in Chayrim. They're not listening to the din. Kilabo Lezvas Hashem. That's what it says over there. Why should Meirose be cursed because they didn't come to help Hashem. Means when they went, Am Yisrael went to fight, so Meroz didn't come along, and because of that they were cursed. The next Gemara put in parentheses just to say it's a false hypo. And who Meroz is? That Baruch, he was the shofet, the general, and he put Meroz into Cherem with 400 shofaros. He used to use a shofar to put somebody in Cherem. So he used 400 shofaros that they made a Cherem against Meroz. Who's Meroz? Some say that it was a great person, some great personality, that he didn't come to help his brethren, and some say that it was a star. Over there it says that the stars also came to fight against Israel, like it says that there was hailstones. So according to the Drash, not according to the Pshat doesn't say it over there, but in the Drash. So there were some stars that didn't come, so he cursed that star. There seems to be a Drash level. But anyway, back to the drushes over here, that it says you curse the person who doesn't listen to the Bezdin. There's the two issues over here, just to point out. We started off talking about that he doesn't listen to the summons. And here, it might be talking about also that after Bezdin gave a psak, and he doesn't listen to the psak, then also they do a shamta. And the Gemara talks about, that's why the Gemara seems to continue now by the previous pasuk, by Oru Meroz. It could be also not the summons as much as the psak. They said to come to war. How do you know that you are mafkir the property if somebody doesn't listen to the Bezdin? This is a pasuk in Ezra. V'chol asher lo yavo v'atzasa zakenim v'asarim v'azakenim yacharam kol ruchusho v'hu yibadal mikalav olam. Well, there Ezra was calling everybody to come to an emergency meeting. Over there, he heard about that some people are taking non-Jewish wives. So he said, the whole Am Yisrael should come. Whoever doesn't come within 3 days, as the Zakenim order, so all of his property is going to be destroyed, and he's going to be excommunicated, Yibodel. So you see that you could be machid. It says Yachavam Kol V'Chusho. So you see that his property could be confiscated. There's a pasuk in Nehemiah, and this is going to be that if he doesn't has to punish somebody, they have the right to punish somebody. The word Natsina means to fight. We fight with him, and we curse him, and we hit him, and we pull out his hair, and we curse. We swear. Or swearing is going to be also probably a kind of a swearing of a curse. This is a pasuk in Nehemiah. Over there it's talking about, if I remember correctly, also something about non-Jewish wives. There some people took non-Jewish wives, and this is Nehemiah. Before it was Ezra. Ezra made a big meeting, and by Nehemiah, different episodes over there it says that, like it says, that he fought with them, and he cursed them, and he hit them, and he pulled out their hair, and he made them swear, or he cursed them. So you see that you're allowed to do that also. Bezdin has the power to do that. The Kafsinan, Basminan. She says yeah, good. The Kafsinan, Basminan, Babdinan, Adafa. How do you know that you also do these things? Kafsinan means to tie him up. Asminan also means to tie him up. I think so. And Abdinan Hardafa.
Kafsinan is Yadav and Ragla brushes.
And what is Asminan? Okay, so you tie him up to give him Malchus, and Kafsinan, either they think they say maybe the opposite. The other Mepharshim say the opposite, but whatever it is, like Rabbi Eliezer said that one is to tie him to the Umud to give him Malchus, and one is to tie up his hands and feet, but if necessary, and also Hardafa. Hardafa, the Gemara is going to explain what Hardafa means. But this is our pasuk also in Ezra, and this is interesting that this is talking about, not that they actually did it, but this is talking about the authorization. Okay, I went down a little bit, no good. But this was the authorization that Ezra got from the king. When the king sent Ezra, gave permission for Ezra to go to Eretz Yisrael, so he gave him authorization. And he says, yeah, I have authorization to kill the most. He can give capital punishment, whoever doesn't do what Ezra says. And the shroshi literally means like to uproot. And danish nichsen, which will mean some kind of confiscating property, which also the Gemara said before. The less surin is going to mean, the Gemara is going to mean to tie up. Like we said, a surin is going to mean kafsinan vasrinan. But what's left out, we don't know about what does Hadafa mean. My Dishroshi, Amar Avada Bar Mori, Amar Lechemi Bar Baruch, Amar Achi Barav, and Amar Yuda Hadafa. The word Dishroshi and the pasuk means Hadafa, which the Gemara said that's how the Gemara started, that you do Hadafa. How do we know what Hadafa means? What does Hadafa mean? My Hadafa, Amar Yuda Breda of Shmuel, Bashivas Bashmei Dirav, Menadan La'alter, Basham La'achad Shloshim, Umachim La'achashishim. It means, it seems to be like a kind of aggressiveness. You run after him, you're chasing him. That if he doesn't listen, so you do need to right away.
And why are you saying chase? I would say you make him more harsh on him.
What does the word hadafa? What does the word hadafa mean? The word hadafa, that's the word.
No, I hear, but to me, saying, oh, okay. Fine.
The fact that you keep on going, you don't just do something, you keep on going after him. it is true that you, like you're saying, that you're getting more and more chomer, but the point of the word hadafa seems to be that you rodif him. You don't let him go.
Okay, I didn't. I thought you meant chasing, like running after.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
I didn't get what you're saying.
Aggressiveness.
Okay. Aggressive.
What is that? Because you put neither right away.
Sanctions.
Okay, and then shon lachash shloshim umachim lachash shishim. That if he doesn't listen right away, you put him in nidui, and then repeat it a second nidui after 30 days, and after 60 days, like another 30 days. So then you put him in chayim also. Even though it says that you put him in nidui right away, it doesn't mean right away. It means you give him a warning Monday, Thursday, Monday. That sheni v'chamisha v'sheni, give him a warning. If you're not going to listen, we're going to put you in nidui. And then again, the second time also probably before the next 30 days, you tell him again Monday, Thursday, Monday. We tell him 3 times that we're going to put you in nidui again. And the third time, this patience that we have, that we don't. We wait. The warning is only for financial issues. The person tells him to do something, to pay up something, pay back, and he doesn't. So then we have all this patience. But if somebody was mochutzev to a Talmud Chacham or something like that, to bezdin, and because of the chutzpah, so then they do need it right away, mamish. Then they don't talk about the sheni v'chamisha v'sheni. You do it right away. Now it says some stories over here. Who tafcha?
You go to the extreme one by Talmud Chacham.
What is that?
You go to the extreme when he's a
Right. For the bezdin, Talmud Chacham. Mostly he's talking about over here about the bezdin. We'll see. Afkimusa, no. You're right. But Bas Talmud Chacham is going to be Bas Talmud Chacham. The bezdin. Talmud Chacham was Talmud Chacham that he was mepaza, so they put him into nidui, and there's no warning. Who tafcha? This Parker Rav Tuvi B'Matana. A story. There was a butcher that was mechutzef to Rav Tuvi B'Matana. So Abai and Rabba, they put him in chayim. They put him in nidui. They put his butcher in nidui. The self Azal Paisei. Here says the Baldina, the Beregir, so that means of Tubi B'Matana, that he went and he appeased them. The butcher had charota and he appeased them, and they wanted to take off the nidui. Amar Abai Hechinabed. Literally, we should. What should we do? Should we take off the nidui? So there's a problem that he says that the nidui has to take effect for 30 days, and it seems to say that they don't permit it less than 30 days, even though he did tshuva. If he got into a nidui, so then it has to take effect for 30 days. They're not going to take off the excommunication until 30 days is over. But there's a problem. No, literally, we're not going to be mated for 30 days. The word lemeyal, we'll see later on that the better gear says to be lemezal. That the issue was that the people who put him into chayrim, it says Abai Rava, and those had other people also, other rabbanim, and they had to leave. They weren't going to be there. The word lemezal would be better, or the miftar, they wanted to leave. So there's going to be an issue Mor's going to talk about soon, that you need the same Talmid Chachamim to be matir the chayrim that they made. If certain people were the ones who put them into chayrim, do they have to be the same people to take it off, or another bezdin to take it off? So Abai holds that the same people have to be matir their chayrim. So Abai had a problem that if we're not going to do it now, so if we're not going to go, he didn't know what to do. So Abai asked, do you know anything about this halacha that can we be matir right away? Tut asa, tut shows. So the word tut is like you say in English, tut, like tut. That means that the shofar makes the chem, the shofar takes it off, and you don't have to wait. You can do it whenever you decide to take it off. You can take it off. But I said no, that's not our subject. When there was some kind of a nidui because of a financial matter, then of course you can take it off right away. But here the question of kivusa of the chayla shamta leitos and yom. The problem is he says no. That he says that if it was because of a chutzpah that he was mitchatzef to a Talmud Chacham, so then you have to wait 30 days. That's why Abai had the problem that what are we going to do? We can't do it before 30 days. But on the other hand, the people that are being matir have to leave, and they're not going to be here anymore to be matir. So he didn't know what to do. The Gemara doesn't continue. What did he do? Lamaisa doesn't say. But now the Gemara goes into that subject. You have to have the same people. We finish the subject, and it says that when it's Rav Kivusa, first of all, you do it right away, and also that you have to leave it on for 30 days. Even if he does tshuva, the nidui has to take effect 30 days. If it will be mominous, some other kind of issue, so then once he does tshuva, they can take it off right away. But if it was because of chutzpah to a Talmud Chacham, so then it has to take effect 30 days. But now the Gemara goes into the side subject that Abaye held that the same Talmid Chachamim that put him into chayrim also have to be the same ones to take it off. Alma, because that's a new subject now. Alma kasava Abaye hani beit lasa the shemitu lo asu. You see, Abai holds that the same 3 people who put him into Shamta, into Nidui, You can't have another 3 people taking it off. It has to be the same people. And now the Gemara goes into that subject. The Gemara is going to come out in about 10 lines. We don't pass like that. At this point of our Bible, we don't pass the line. We had this question. It's an old question. If three people put somebody into nidui, can another 3 people come to take it off? Tashma. So right from a brisa, we're going to learn some side halachos over here. If the Rav put somebody into nidui, so that nidui takes effect even as far as the Talmidim. It means the Talmidim have to respect that nidui. If the Rav put him into nidui, the Talmud has to honor that nidui, which means they have to conduct themselves with that nidui, not like whatever it's going to be, not to do business with him, whatever it might be, not to sit in his dalanamis, not to whatever nidui, the level of nidui. But if the Talmud is the one who put him into nidui, so that doesn't obligate the Rav. The Rav is not included in that obligation to honor the nidui, and only the Talmud and people that less than him. But someone that's bigger than him, the Rav doesn't have to conduct himself in that to treat that person who was put into nidui. He doesn't have to treat him in nidui. And the same thing, a few other cases, if his own city put him into nidui, so then other cities also have to respect that nidui. But if he was put into nidui by a different city, so that his own city doesn't have to. They're not obligated to that nidui of a different city. If the Nasi puts somebody in Nidui, so then everybody has to respect it. But if the Am Yisrael means somebody besides the Nasi puts somebody, the Nasi is above that, and he doesn't have to respect that Nidui. He could whatever, talk to that person. He's not within the confines of that Nidui. Further, that's some side information. This is what we're looking for. If there was a Talmud, a certain person doesn't hear that the point is not the Talmud. That is going to be the point, one of the points, not our main point, that if a Talmud put somebody in Nidui and he died, so even if the other 2, there are 3 people that put him into Nidui, and even if one died, so that part is not going to be removed. If he died, so he's not able to be mati, even though the other 2/3 are going to be mati, but he wasn't mati. And the Gemara is going to focus on the last statement. The first statement we're not going to talk about. You can see 3 things from this brisa. This goes back to the beginning over here, where it's better. It does go back to the beginning. Means that the Talmud put somebody in nidui, the Rav is not obligated to that nidui. But it does say that the Talmud put somebody in nidui. The Gemara is going to say later on that if he put somebody in nidui because of Kol Shemayim, he did something wrong against Hashem, so then it does obligate the Rav. Here, when it says that the Rav is not obligated, it's only because he did it because that person was mechutzif to him. The Talmud himself, he's Talmud Chacham, and somebody was mechutzif to him, he could put him in nidui. But that the Rav is not obligated to. So you see, Talmud shenidu l'chvodo nidu yenidu. You see that if a Talmud, even if he's not the darg of a Rav, he's a small Talmud Chacham, if he puts somebody in shame because that person was a mechutzif to him, so it takes effect. It doesn't take effect to the Rav. The Rav is not included, but it does take effect to him. That person himself has to take it seriously, and other people, just the Rav doesn't have to. That's not our subject right now. When you have 3 people that put somebody into nidui, how much is each? You might, and you have to have them, all 3 of them, to take it away, like the Gemara says. But the Brisa says. But you can look at it that if one of them doesn't remove it, so then nothing went off. But it says no. It does says that his part is not removed. That means that the other parts are removed. It means that it goes in thirds, whatever. If there are 3 people that put somebody into nidui, each one is a third, and each one, when he removes it, he removes that amount. The Rosh says that the nafkamina over here would be that you don't have to have all 3 of them together in order to remove the nidui. If it will be that it only works in all 3, so you have to have all 3 together. But if each one does his part, so even if it will be individually, he goes to this Rab's house and he's matir his third, and then the other Rab's house he's matir his third, and the third. So that's the nafkamina if each one is a third or it's all together one combination. And the last thing is, this is what we started talking about. Do you need the same people? If it says over here that he died, and that's it, somebody put into chayim, the Talmud put somebody into chayim, and the Talmud died. So that's it. You can't take it off anymore. That sounds like nobody else could take it off. If you say that if anybody else could do it, so then it's not chelke and mufa. somebody else could come. So the Gemara says that Abaye holds the same way, that Abaye said that the people who put into Chayrim, you have to have the same people to take it off, and they would have to leave. That was the problem. So Abaye held that you need the same people, and also this Bryce will also seems to be the same way. But Amemar argues, Hilchasa, Hani Beit Lasa the Shemitu, also Beit Lasa Achmeni B'Sholei, that it's not true that if three people put someone into Chayrim, another three could take it off. So the Kash is the Bryce seems to say against that. It says Chok Kohen Mufra. Amalei Rabashi Lamema Batanya Reb Shimon Gamliel Omer Echem Natamidim Shenidu Omeis Chok Kohen Mufra. My love ain't a Mufra. Doesn't it say that if he dies, then it's too late? He can't take it off anymore. So he says, no, it doesn't mean that. No, it doesn't mean that. It means it's just coming to say that if you have three people, you need all three people, and each person, if the other two took it off, so then 2/3 is off, 1/3 is on, and main time, as long as you don't get it removed, so it's not removed. But you could get three other people to take off the chaylik of the person who died. So we pass on like Amema in this last point that you don't need the same original people, or could be other people also. Tanu Rabbanan. So we had different levels. We had Chayrim is very serious, Nidu is less, and now it's saying something even less than that. There's something called Nazifa. The word Nazifa means to be angry, and that means if a Talmud Chacham showed that he's angry at somebody, so the person who, how do you call him? The person who was angry, who
angered.
No, the angered is a person who got angry.
No, I caused you to get angry. I angered you.
So because you made me angry. So
you're the Talmud Chacham. I angered you.
The angerer, whatever the word would be. So he is supposed to act.
Rebuke. Is that the word you're looking for? Rebuke.
No, I want the person who was rebuked. Put it that way. Not the rebuker, the rebuked.
Okay. Fine.
So and the zifa is more than rebuke. The zifa is like being angry at somebody, screaming at somebody. So the person who was screamed at, we'll see a few examples, many examples we're going to see today. So then it's not less than 7 days. So there's nidui. Chayrim also said before. Also probably it's going to be 30 days, but nazifa is 7 days. It's not exactly a raya, but it's a hint to the point by Miriam when Hashem showed anger at Miriam because he made her a Mitzorah. So Hashem said that even her father, if he would have spit at her, she would have been shamed for 7 days. So too, she should be Tisager Shabbat Yomim. So you see, when the Rav shows that he's angry, the rebuked is supposed to act humbled for 7 days. So that's the halacha. Nida is 30 days and Nazifa is 7 days. So that's talking about in Eretz Yisrael. I think it's going to be a chiluk of Eretz Yisrael and Bavel. In Bavel, they were more lenient. Rav Chisda said that in Bavel, Nidui Shalanu can Nazifa Shalahen. In Bavel, we put somebody in Nidui, it's not 30 days, it's only like their Nazifa, which is only 7 days. And the Gemara is going to say a number of days that our Nazifa in Bavel is even less. But so far it said that the Nidui of Bavel is like the Nazifa of Eretz Yisrael, which is 7 days. And now the Gemara goes on a long time. Before we go further, just to jump ahead, just to show that we're going to get further, and the Amud Beis on the third white line about Nazifa Didan is going to be 1 day. Everything goes down. In Eretz Yisrael is 30 and 7. In Bavel it's 7 and 1. The Nidui is 30 and Nazifa is 7. And Rav Chisda says, Nidui Shalanu can Nazifa Shalahen, that our Nidui is only like their Nazifa, which is 7 days. And now the Gemara goes on a long point about this thing that the nidui is 7 days. We're not talking about Eretz Yisrael now. In Eretz Yisrael, the nazifa is 7 days. And the Gemara is the kasha that you find a couple of places where there was a nazifa for 30 days. And that's the kasha. When nazifa, the two shiva b'sulo, is the nazifa of Eretz Yisrael 7 days and no more. There's going to be stories that there was a nazifa of 30 days. And here are some stories. For Rav Shimon bar Rebbe, Bar Kapar Rebbe, Yasvi b'Kagarsi. Rav Shimon bar Rebbe, the son of Rebbe, Rav Shimon the son of Rebbe, and Bar Kapara, they were sitting and learning. They were chavrusas. Kasha l'shmait, that a kasha, there was a difficult Gemara. Amalei Rav Shimon bar Kapara, Davar zeh tzarich Rebbe. So Rav Shimon bar Rebbe said to Bar Kapara, this chavrusa, that this one we have to ask Rebbe. The Rebbe has to explain this to us. We don't get it. Amalei Bar Kapara, Rav Shimon, but Bar Kapara responded to him, Umar Rebbe Yom b'Davar zeh. What's Rebbe going to be able to say? Rebbe's not going to be able to know this one. This is too hard for Rebbe also. So Rav Shimon bar Rebbe told his father what Bar Kapara said. Rav Shimon bar Rebbe told his father, Rebbe, what Bar Kapara said, that you're not going to know the answer to this. Ikvid. And Rebbe was insulted about that. Asa Bar Kapara, this Chazuyele, Bar Kapara came to visit him, whatever the case was. He came to see him, came to see Rebbe. Rebbe said to Bar Kapara, any makecha me'olam. I don't know who you are. Like he meant to say, I don't want to speak to you. And he was angry at him because he said such a statement. Rebbe, what does Rebbe know? The other,
Why did he just say he didn't want to speak to him? He wanted to give him a hint. Why do you want to do it in a hinted fashion?
it's also hinted. They're saying, I don't know you. Ich kenn dich nicht. I don't
Why
know
do
you.
you want?
It's not a hint.
It's more of a stach.
It's saying directly, get out. You know, you may
Why did he
leave.
say get out?
That's what it means.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what it means.
No, then why did he want to go around it then?
I think it's not going. Someone told me, Machavusa said that this is what they say in Hebrew also. Any makirotcha. Like I don't know you. So I don't know why they don't say it straight, but this is considered straight. It's not a hint. It's very,
Okay.
so the Chafetz Chaim on this Gemara goes at length. What happened to Lashon Hara over here? How did the Rav Shimon Rebbe tell Rebbe? How did Rebbe believe it? The Chafetz Chaim talks a lot about it. So Yada the Nakat Milsa Badate. So Rabbi Kapor realized that Rebbe was angry at him. So he conducted himself with the Zifa for 30 days. That means whatever it was, he stayed at home, or I think that's how the postscript say that he didn't go out. It doesn't mean that he's a nidoy. It doesn't mean that it's not the dark of nidoy, but it means that he has to act humble because the Adam Choshev got angry at him. Anyway, the Gemara's Kash is going to be that it says 30 days. He said to the Zifa, no, he didn't say Chayim. That's what showed that he's angry. And you see that he acted 30 days on that. So that's going to be the Gemara's Kash. But the Gemara's another story. Before we get to the answer, another story. A different story. This was Rebbe and Bar Kapora. The next story is going to be about Rebbe and Rav Chia. Here, Rebbe once made a decree. Don't teach Talmidim outside in the street. It's not covered by Torah to teach outside in the marketplace, only inside a building in a private privacy. My Darash, why did he say so? What was the drasha? It says, that's the pasuk in Shir Hashirim, and the Gemara dashes it that is something about the Torah. Not clear how the Gemara sees that as the Torah. Rashi says, Ma'aseh Yedei Aman. Where's the Rashi? Someplace. And that means the Torah. And it says, like the hidden of the thighs. Chalaim, there's some gears here that says something about the Chachamim. That's a gears over here. But also it might be Maaseh Yedei Amon, whatever the drash is. Chalam is a kind of a jewelry pashup shot. But anyway, the Gemara says that Rebbe Dashan that there's a similarity between the Torah and the thigh. Ma'yach b'seisa, achti Torah b'seisa. That the similarity is that it has to be concealed. The chashivus of the thigh is that it should be concealed, and so too Torah has to be concealed. But Rabbi Chia ignored the decree of Rebbe. Yatzir Chia v'shandal shnei bnei Yaakov b'shuk. The Rav bar. They take out the word bar or the Rav bar Chana. That Rabbi Chia had two nephews. One was Rav and one was Rav bar Chana, and he ignored the decree of Rebbe, and he went and he taught his two nephews publicly. So Rabbi was upset. He didn't listen to the decree. Sham Rabbi Yikpid. Rabbi heard that Rabbi Chia taught in public, so he was angry. Also Rabbi Chia came to appear to him. He came to visit Rabbi. Amalei, there's a guess over here, but the way he says here is Iya. He pronounced his name not the regular way Chia, but Iya. Someone's calling you outside. Another way of saying also, I don't want you to be here. Someone's calling you. You have a telephone call or something like that. And why did he call him Iya? Some say also that Chia wasn't able to pronounce Ches. He himself wasn't able to. There's other Gemara where it says, and we had that I think we had it already, that Chia was not able to pronounce the Ches, and maybe he called him his name also with the way that he's not able to pronounce it. But anyway, he showed that he's angry. And again, the Chafetz Chaim has problems out about Lashon Hara over here. I ain't safe for Chafetz Chaim. But you see, Chia realized that Rebbe was angry at him because he went against his decree. He realized that Chia realized that Rebbe was angry at him. And he also conducted himself as if Nizifa, whatever it means, he stays home or whatever it is, that for 30 days he acted in a conduct of being rebuked. The Kash is over already. They see 30 days, two stories of 30 days. But before we continue the story, so the Gemara finishes, before we continue the answer, which is going to be later on down the page, but Gemara continues with the story. On the 30th day, Rebbe sent a message to Rabbi that he may come. It was already 30 days, he may come. But then the Shalach laid low lacy. But then he sent a second shliach, don't come. And what happened? What happened first? Yes, come, then don't come. May call myself, what did he first think in the beginning? And then he changed his mind. What happened? May call himself a mixas yom kikula. It was on the 30th day. On the 30th day, he said that since the Nizif is 30 days, but once it's the beginning of the 30th day, it's good enough. And that's called that he had 30 days, and he may come already. But then, and then he said, maybe not, maybe don't say that part of the days, it has to be 30 full days. So he said, don't come. But the Maisa, Lasof Asa, Reb Chia did come. And on the 30th day, Amalei, Amayasa. So Rabbi said, why did he come? He said, because you called me to come. Amalei, the Shalach Lima, the Lacy, you sent me a message, I should come. Vashalach Lach the low Lacy, I sent you a second message, yeah, you should not come. Amalei, Zerisi, was all Risi. I met the first Shliach, the second Shliach, I didn't meet. He missed me. So I came. He told me to come. So Rabbi said, you see that Hashem orchestrated that we should, even though I wanted that he should not come, but Hashem orchestrated you should come. When Hashem favors the ways of a man, which means you, Hashem favors you, so even his enemies are going to become at peace, even though I was now angry at you, but Hashem caused that we should be back on talking terms. So now Rabbi asked him, okay, so we finished the thing, you did a chutzpah, and you shouldn't have gone against my gzeira, but why? What? I have a pasuk. What do you hold? How do you hold? How come you hold? Even if you hold that differently, you shouldn't have done it without asking me. But why do you hold that you taught in the shuk? My time of Narachi. Why do you think so? Amalei. They take out the word mar, maybe because you wouldn't call it mar. But Amalei tichsiv chachmos b'chutz taron. It says that the wisdoms scream out in the marketplace. So that's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in the marketplace. Amalei. You don't know the pshat. If you learned it once, you didn't learn it twice. If you learned it twice, you didn't learn it 3 times. And you don't remember the pshat. And if you did chazer well and you remember the pshat, but you didn't get the right pshat in the first place, chachmas b'chutz taron means something else. Kidarava. Now Rav is later than Rabbi, but the Gemara is saying that Rav said the same thing. Kidarava. Dama Rav kala osei. It doesn't mean that he's going to learn outside. It means that it's going to shout out outside. If you learn chachmos, so then b'chutz tarona, then it's going to be screamed out outside. He's going to become famous because of the Torah that you learned. You learn the Torah in privacy, and then it's going to declare how great he is. But that's not your business. That's the Torah's business. The Gemara is another pasuk for Reb Chia. Lo meirosh lo seisei dibarti. Over there, it says that Hashem said by Har Sinai, I didn't speak in concealment. Har Sinai was done publicly. So don't you see Torah is supposed to be given publicly? That's only on the day of the drasha. Kala is a drasha, means when they made a drasha for the whole people, so then they would do it outside before Yom Tov, like Chaps about the drasha. But in a regular teaching, you teach something, you're supposed to do it in privacy. Rab Chia, says Machlokas over here. Are you supposed to teach publicly? Rabbi says not. Rab Chia said yes. And the Gemara brought 2 psukim, and the Gemara said how Rabbi is going to answer them. But Rab Chia, how's he going to answer the pasuk of Rabbi? Rabbi brought a pasuk that it should be in privacy, like the thigh. How's he going to dash from the pasuk that says that it should be in concealment like a thigh? Not by Torah. Torah Rab Chia is going to say it could be public. That should be in privacy because you don't want to embarrass the person. Give it in privacy. When you have to do chasad, and then don't do that with a lot of noise. That you should do with a low profile. But anyway, we have 2 stories over here. The first one was Bar Kapara. Second one is Bar Chia, both of them with Rebbe. And you see, when Rebbe was angry, they made it Nazif for 30 days. And the kasha was that he said Nazif at most is only going to be 7 days. Amar Nazif to do plus in Yomin. You see, it's swapped out over here, but it should be plus in. The answer is Nazifas Nasi Shani. That's why Nasi. Nasi is different. Not Rebbe was the Nasi. Both stories it was Rebbe. So that's why the ones who were rebuked, they kept being humbled for 30 days. But regularly, Talmud Chacham, it only would be 7 days. The Gemara continues now that Rav Chisda said that the Nazif of Bavel, that the Nidui of Bavel is less than the Nidui of Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael is 30 days, in Bavel is only 7. And now Nazifa Didan Kama Hevi Chad Yoma. And the Nazifa of Bavel is less than the Nazifa of Eretz Yisrael over there at 7, and then Bavel is only 1 day. And I think it was going to be a couple of stories to show how cases where people were angry, and the Rav was angry, and the Talmud, he only kept 1 day of a Nazifa. And again, the postscript I think say that he means he stays home, he doesn't go out. He shows that he's humble. It's missing the end of the page. Shmuel was bigger Talmud Chacham than Marukva was. So when they were sitting learning, so then Shmuel would be the one sitting in the front, and Marukva would sit as a Talmud. Far Dalar Amos away, he gave cover to Shmuel, that Shmuel was the Rav and Marukva was a Talmud. But Marukva was the Nasi, or maybe the word would be Reish Galusa, I'm not sure. Yasvi Bedina, when they would be in Din Torah, so then Marukva was more of an authority. Have Yosef Shmuel Kamed. Okay. Have Yosef Shmuel Kamed the Marukva Bracha Gab Amos, and the opposite, then Marukva would be in the head, and Shmuel would sit far Amos away. The next words are not so posh of what they mean, but it says not clear what that means. It's a side point, and it's some say that it means that they would make a elevated place for Mar Ukva in order that his word should be heard. The word chayki doesn't sound like elevated. Chayki sounds a little bit like engraved. So that's not so clear. If it means that they made an elevated place for Mar Ukva in order that when he speaks, he should be heard, that means they elevated him. Some have a different shot because the word chayki means to be lowered, maybe to be dug out. So some say a shot also that they dug out, even though they have to sit on the couch of some sort. But they lowered it. They lowered it into the ground in order that it should be same level as Shmuel. It shouldn't be above Shmuel because Shmuel was really the Rebbe. But anyway, Shmuel was a bigger Talmud Chacham, but Baruch did have more authority than Shmuel, and therefore in the Bezdin he was the Rosh Bezdin called it. Every day after the Din Torah, whatever it was after learning, so then Baruch would escort Shmuel. Shmuel was bigger, so Baruch would escort Shmuel until his place where he was staying. Yom Echad Itrid B'Dinei. One day Baruch was preoccupied in the Din Torah, and his mind was not thinking. He wasn't thinking about. He was thinking about the Din Torah. He wasn't thinking about what he was doing. And Avazal Shmuel Bas Ba'adei. They say they changed Basrei to Ba'adei. So if Mar Ukva didn't show deference to Shmuel, so Shmuel was forced, not that Mar Ukva meant it, but Shmuel was forced to escort him. Means they were walking together. As usually Mar Ukva would go to the place, let's say, Mar Ukva would walk together with Shmuel to the place Shmuel had to go. But he wasn't thinking, so he went home. Mar Ukva went out down his own path, and Shmuel was going together with him. And Mar Ukva didn't even realize that's what's happening, that Shmuel was going with him, and he caused Shmuel to have to escort him, which came out of chutzpah to Shmuel. Kimata lebeise, when they got to the house of Mar Ukva, so Shmuel asked, like, may I leave? Like, like is that enough already?
Why did a chutzpah if he did it by not realizing? It's not a chutzpah.
It is a chutzpah. He's supposed to realize. He's supposed to realize.
To me, it's a chiddush. No, chutzpah pshat is you do kavana. It's a mistake. Is a chutzpah.
There's also chutzpah not to realize. There's a chutzpah not to realize. He's supposed to be conscious. And
to me, it's a chiddush because I always thought chutzpah is you're doing something with dafka. You're not doing something.
And there was a story without saying any names. There was a big kenes, and there was a certain, I'll just say very bar. There was a certain Adam Gadol and another Adam Gadol, and the how do you say Hasidim? They were around their Adam Gadol, and the other Adam Gadol got pushed around. So they didn't mean it. They just were around there, Adam Gadol. But that's the chutzpah. You have to realize it's not Adam Gadol over there. You don't forget such a thing. You have to realize it's not a mistake. It's not as bad as Mazid, but you have to realize.
I would say I would have called it chaser covered. The chutzpah is always.
That's a chaser covered. It's a chutzpah.
Okay, I know. Always.
If you do something that causes, if they push this Adam Gadol, they pushed him like
they mevaza. I would call them
vaza. They weren't vaza.
They were not covered.
So that's called the bizayon. If you don't realize.
Yeah, but bizayon. Okay, I guess I have the wrong terminology. I always thought chutzpah was like bedafko, the kavana.
There could be a chutzpah. There's someone that doesn't realize also. There's also could be a chutzpah.
Okay.
We'll see. Okay, that's that. Anyway, what do you see that the Zifas one day? The Gemara brought a story as an example. It's not a kasha. It's a support that you see that the Zifas one day, like this case that Mar Ukva, he only did one day of the Zifa because Shmuel didn't put him in Chem or anything, but he realized that Shmuel was angry at him, so he did one day. And this is in Bavel, like we said, that the Zifa is really 7 days, but in Bavel they only did one day. Another story. Ahi Itza, that was Yasfa B'Shvila. There was a woman who was sitting in a pathway, have his pashta kara. Her foot was spread out on the floor, and she was sifting chushloi, which is as an aside, shelled barley. She was doing her business over there. A Talmid Chacham passed by, and she didn't humble herself. It means that you're sitting in the street, and a Talmid Chacham passes by, you're supposed to sit up a little bit to derech eretz. So somebody chasha passes by, you don't just continue having your foot spread out. He said, how such a chutzpah, this woman. She said, he mumbled, he said something, what a chutzpah. So she was worried about it. She sounded like she realized that she made a mistake, and the Talmid Chacham was angry at her. She came to Rav Nachman and she asked, he asked her, did you hear him say the word nidui, shamta? No, he didn't say that. So act one day in the Zifa. Again, that to act, whatever, stay home, whatever, to show humbleness, that the fact that he was angry at you, so the cover, the derech eretz is to show the Zifa. And also, again, one day. A second story of a one day in the Zifa. Another story. Sutra Batuvia have a pasuk Siddur Kamed of Yehuda. Sutra Batuvia, he was learning, he was a Talmud, and he was learning, what is it over here, Novi, in front of Rav Yehuda. When he came to the pasuk in the end of Shmuel, it says, Veilu Divrei David Achronin. It's a pasuk over there in Perikhov Gimel that says this is the last words of David. And over there it says a poem that David made up. Amalei, the Talmud asked the Rebbe, Achronim Machal Ika Rishonim. Rishonim I knew. If it says this is the last words of David, there must be the earlier words of David. What's that? What's the Rebbe David Rishonim? Shasik V'lam Alev V'lam Midi. He didn't answer. The Rebbe didn't answer. And so he nudged again. Like you said, the same question over again. Yes, same question over again. He asked the kasha, the Rebbe didn't answer. He asked it the second time. So the Rebbe took it as a shtuch. I didn't answer you. Why didn't I answer you? I don't know the answer. So why are you rubbing it in that I don't know the answer?
How does one know, by the way? How does one know? Sometimes the Rebbe gets sidetracked or whatever. How does he know that he doesn't know?
I guess he saw that he didn't get sidetracked. He heard the question. It could be he didn't hear sometimes, but he heard that he saw that he heard it. And he didn't answer. So you don't ask it again. You ask it again. It's saying, what's it saying? If I would have known, I would have told you. You think that someone doesn't know the pshat in the pasuk, so he's not a Talmud Chacham? I don't know pshat in the pasuk, but you're rubbing it in. That means that what are you really asking?
Why didn't the Rebbe say he didn't know?
If he doesn't answer, he doesn't answer.
Maybe he's thinking. A lot of times,
so he probably gave enough time to think, and then he asked them again. So he said, that's a chutzpah. We have a lot of things to learn from these Gemaras. He realized that the Rebbe was angry at him. So I brought three stories to say that Nazif was one day. The rest of the Gemara today is, once we mention the pasuk over there at the end of Shmuel, so we're going to dash on all that. And that's the end of the day today, till we go till the bottom of the page. All this extra credit, so to speak. I didn't highlight it yet. I'll try to do it as we go along. It's a good question. What's the pshat? How come it's called the last words of David? What's the first words of David? So the Gemara says, which is really a pshat. It seems that in the parak before, this is parak of Gimel before, parak of Gimel, and this is parak of Beis, and that over there is a big long song over there. It says, that's parak of Beis, and it's a long shir, and that's called the first words of David, and then it says these are the last words of David. And now the Gemara is going to go on aside. That's enough for answering the question. What does it mean? David Achronim? The Rishonim is the parak before. But now the Gemara goes on to dash in this pasuk. So what did it say? David Hashem is the on the day that Hashem saved him from all his enemies and Shaul. David, Shira Ta'omer Mapalosa Shal Shaul. David, you're saying song about the downfall of Shaul, that Hashem saved you from Shaul, means that Shaul had a downfall. And you're saying Shira because Shaul fell. If you were to be him and he would be you, I would have taken away many Davids because of Shaul. It means in many ways Shaul is bigger than David. And a fascinating Gemara in the Psukim, you don't see that, but here it says that Shaul was bigger than David. Rashi says the mazel of David means that David, whatever David was given as his tafkid, that was different than Shaul. But Shaul was inherently greater than David. That's what the Gemara seems to say. And that's why Hashem said, rebuke to David that you're saying Shira that Shaul fell. Shaul is very great, greater than you. Anu T'chsiv, that the word is a drash and a pasuk until him Perik Zion, Shigayon David Asher Shor Al Divrei Kush Ben Yamini. So the Mefarshim and the word Shigayon, we don't know what they are, like all of the introductions of the Prakim and Tillim, all kinds of introductions, we don't know what they mean. The Mefarshim just go simply, maybe it's a melody, maybe it's an instrument. But here the Gemara is going to say the word Shigayon is because of it's like a shkaga, because of a mistake. That this is the Shigayon that he sang to Hashem because of Kush Ben Yamini, which the Gemara says Kush Ben Yamini is Shaul, and Shaul's called Kush. That's going to be the next Russia. Why is he called Kush? And the reason was because Shigayon, that it was a shkaga. He said about the mistake that I made. And now the Gemara goes on to the side subject. Why is Shaul called Kush? Kush means black. Kushi, Ethiopian. So why is it called Kush Ben Yamini? It should have been called Shaul Ben Yamini. It's just another way of saying outstanding. Just like a black man is outstanding, that he's different. So too, Shaul was outstanding in his actions. He was such a tzaddik that his deeds were outstandingly good. And the way you say outstanding is Kush. And now the Gemara brings a lot of side examples, other places where you see Kush is used in that sense. We'll put this in parentheses until here. Yosef about Omer. It talks about the wife of Moshe that he took Isha Kushis, and that's why Aaron and Miriam were talking about him. That was Tzipor, why she called Kushis. That she was outstanding. Tzipor was outstanding in her good deeds. That's why she's called Kushis, because outstanding. Over there it's talking about the one somebody who saved Yirmiyah from being killed, and it says that the Eved Melech HaKushi, which Gemara is saying again that it's going to be not black. It means he was some good man. Here the Gemara says, the way the Gemara darshans, not that the Eved was the Kushi, it was the Eved of the Melech HaKushi. He was the slave of the king Kushi, and the king was Tzidkiyahu. This Eved, we don't know his name, but according to the Drash, we're going to say that Kushi is the king. That Tzidkiyahu had outstanding good deeds, and that's why he's called Kushi. And one more example, that Bnei Yisrael are called Bnei Kushiyim. And in the Drash is going to say that they're outstandingly good. Kushim Shemon, are they called Kushi? That's Yisrael. Allah Yisrael Shemon, called them Bnei Yisrael. Why call Bnei Kushiyim? Am Yisrael is different than all the Goyim. The deeds of Am Yisrael is different than the deeds of the Goyim. All that was Agav about Divrei David Achronim. What's Divrei David Rishonim? Perek Chav. It says over there that he thanked Hashem, praised Hashem because saving him from Shaul, and that the Gemara says was a mistake because don't talk about a shir about Shaul's Mapala, and then she going on with David, and it says Kush Beni Mini, that it means Shaul Beni Mini. Why is it called Kush? Because Meshuna, and then I brought a few more examples of Kush meaning different. Back to Divrei David Achronim. Now we're going to darshan the rest of the pasuk. It's going to darshan about what we said about Perek Chav Gimel, whereas the last words of David, the last poem of David, and that's Divrei David Achronim. So we'll try to highlight it now again. No. I'm sorry, I made a mistake over here. I did too much. Meant only the first part of the pasuk. No David Ben Yishai no Mageh Behukamo. This is the pasuk also. David said, Num David Ben Yishai. This is what David Ben Yishai said, and so said the person who kamo. What's who kamo? Num David Ben Yishai. Shehekim Ula Shel Tshuva. He picked up the old. He picked up the yoke. Which yoke? The yoke of Tshuva. That he showed people he could do Tshuva. That the Gemara says. Rashi brings down about the Zohar. The Gemara says that David really shouldn't have stumbled in the very that he did with Bathsheba. But the fact that he did is in order to show the world he could do Tshuva. So when David did Tshuva, everybody realized he could do Tshuva. Everybody should learn from David to do Tshuva. The pasuk says the poem over there of David. Amar Elohei Yisrael, Nidi Beretzu Yisrael, Moshel Badam, Tzadik, Moshel Yiras Elokim. And the Gemara is going to dash what the pasuk means. It's a drash. My comment. What does the pasuk mean? Amar Rabba Achei Kamar. Amar Elohei Yisrael. Hashem said, Li Diber Tzur Yisrael. Hashem told me. I think both of you are saying the same thing. Hashem told me, Ani Moshel Badam. I rule over man. Me Moshel Bi. Who rules over me? Hashem says, Tzadik. A Tzadik rules over me. Why is that? Shani goes there, whom about it, put the word whom about it. Then even when Hashem makes a decree, the tzaddik can override with prayer, and Hashem is going to nullify the decree that he made because of the tzaddik. So that's called that the tzaddik is mevatel the gzera that Hashem made.
That's the Gerson.
And the Diktuk Sofrim. That's what the pshat is, right? Even without the Gerson. No. It's just clear. That makes it clear, but that's the pshat.
Shani Geyser, Gezerah, and Umatla.
Yeah, that's the pshat. Even if you have the word Umatla, also means that the tzaddik. It says me Moshe be something. What?
This is the famous Gemara right here because
this is it.
He says, "Kadosh Baruch Hu goes, but no, so a tzaddik goes about Kadosh B'Chaim, and it's incorrect. Proper. Zera is that a Kadosh Baruch Hu's geyser and the tzaddik is not.
Yes, that's our Gemara.
People always say tzaddik geyser by Kadosh Baruch Hu b'kaim. It's not true. The name is here.
I think this is a different Gemara. The six are Omer of Yokim Lach. Maybe we'll look at it afterwards.
Okay, maybe
I have to look at it then.
Could be.
that now the Gemara darshans further. We're going further over there in Shmuel. We don't really need it. We finished already the Shira of Perikal Beis, the Shira of Perikal Gimel. The Gemara goes further. There is going to be a slight connection. Maybe that's why the Gemara brings it. And this is the psukim over here. The Pashto after it says the Shira, it says a list of the warriors of David. But the Gemara is going to darshan. We're going to see the pasuk coming up. What is the pasuk talking about? So Elu Shmos HaGiborim Amar Abba Hachikama. This is what it means. Elu Shmos HaGiborim also shall David, not the Giborim, not the warriors, but the great deeds of David, the great things of David. So it's going to be a list in the Drash world. It's going to be a list of the great things of David. Yoshev v'Sheves. I'm just trying to get next words over here. There's going to be a Tachimoni coming up. Okay, we'll get it when we get it. We'll see it.
The pasuk. You don't have the Gemara until later.
Yes, but it's inserting. It's inserting. The Gemara is not Yoshev b'Sheves. That's the pasuk. The Gemara is going to insert drushes into the pasuk. Here's the Tachimoni over here. Okay, Yoshev b'Sheves Tachimoni. The pasuk shot is that these are the Giborim Mashal David. Yoshev b'Sheves Tachimoni. I forgot the pasuk shot, but here b'Shasha Yoshev Yoshev Agabi Kamuk Sasos. When David would sit in the yeshiva learning, so he wouldn't sit on cushions. He didn't make himself chashiv to sit on top of cushions. He sat on the floor like everybody else. His Rebbe, the Rebbe of David, his name was Ira Haya Iri.
But not me Pidocious?
A different Rebbe, it's somebody else. When his Rebbe Ira Haya Iri was living, the Rebbe would teach sitting on top of cushions. He would sit on top of cushions. When the Rebbe died and David started teaching, he was on the floor. People told him he should also sit on cushions like his Rebbe did. Lo Kabbalah, he didn't want to. That was Yoshev b'Sheves, that he sat on the floor. The pasuk continues Tachimoni. What does that mean? You're going to be because you're going to be like me. We had the Gemara Megillah really says that's how you're supposed to. It just says in the Gemara Megillah that Perik Omer Yoshev over there, Makar Megillah Omer Yoshev. It says right over there they're supposed to stand on the same level. So that seems to be like David. There's other places where you see that Rebbe does sit higher, and this is one of the places that it's considered a big mile that David sat on the floor. Really, the Rebbe Ira Yiri sat on the cushions. The other Gemara said there also. The Rambam says that the Rebbe sits higher against the Gemara Megillah. I don't know. But here it says that David was machmir and he sat on the floor. That's considered a big shavach. And Hashem said, because of that, Tehikamoni. Tachkamoni, Yidash and Deches like a Tachkamoni, Tehikamoni, you're going to be like me.
This was after he was the Melech?
It seems, yeah. It says.
I thought Melech is not allowed to be vitally covered.
I think maybe in the Beis Medrash he's allowed. Maybe the Beis Medrash when he's sitting as a king, but when he's sitting in the Beis Medrash, though maybe it's not. They weren't talking Mitzad Melech, talking Mitzad Rebbe. Even the Gemara that says, the Gemara introduces because his Rebbe did, not because of king. So it seems that maybe when he's doing it as in the Beis Medrash, he doesn't have to act as a king over there. I don't know if my answer is right. I'm just suggesting as a possibility. Shani goes Gzeira Batam Avatla. Here you have again, this is what maybe a connection, besides being the next paragraph. Also before it said that Tzaddik goes there. Ani goes Gzeira Mavatla, and here it says again, Ani goes Gzeira Mavatla. That's Teikamoni, that you're going to be able to nullify the Gzeiras that I make. It says in the pasuk further, Rosh Hashalishim, Tehei Rosh Lashalosh Savos, Rosh Hashalishi, that you're going to be the head of the three. Means you're going to be even bigger than the Avos. Tehei Rosh Lashalosh Savos, you're going to be bigger than Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. The pasuk continues, Hu Adino Ha'etzni, that person, Yoshev B'Shavas Tachimoni, is Adino Ha'etzni, but the Gemara is not actually altogether drasha. Kisha Yoshev Vosik V'Torah Yama Aden Asmo K'Tomas Uv'Shashi Yosem Mulchama Yamak Shasmo Kates. There's Adino and there's Etzni. Adino, the Gemara says like Adin is soft and Etzni is like wood. So what was he? Was he soft or was he like wood? Depends what he was doing. If he was learning, then he was soft like a worm. If he was going to war, then he was strong like wood. Everything in the right place. The pasuk says further, Al Shmona Meyos Cholo Kamechas, that he would be able. Yes.
What is Rashi mean when it's not in Sats? Maybe like almost less Rashi.
I don't know what I translate the word ma'adein. The word Rashi says is that he would bend himself, his hands and feet, and sit on the floor. But I don't see how Rashi sees that in the word ma'adein. How's Rashi translating the word ma'adein? I don't know.
Yeah,
But then it means soft,
soft. Like
soft or delicate,
fine,
delicate. Then the pasuk says, "Ashwana me'eschol pamachas," which the pasuk means that this gibor of David was able to kill 800 in one shot. But yeah, now it's going on David. The Gemara is going to say that David was able to. That when he would throw an arrow, he'd be able to kill 800 in one shot. But he says not enough. He said, why not 1,000? The bracha is that one person is able to chase 1,000. I'm only able to do 800. Because there was a sin over there. There was a problem. The devil wasn't perfect. Because of the sin, that's why he's only able to kill 800. So that's then the Gemara will go back now into the halachas about nidui, but that's today's daf. Okay, we made it in the hour. Sikum. Yeah, well, the halachas about nidui over here. Okay. Yashikach, everybody. Thank you. And that's Hashem, 6:45, 7:45, Motzei Shabbos.
Thank you.
Interesting how you see how much cover you have to give to Ra. I never knew. We're not used to such cover.
want to go round.
Yeah, you see,
Yes,
even
you.
like
Yeah, even in
Thank you very much, Rebbe. Have a good Shabbos. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.
Thank you all.
good Shabbos, good Shabbos. Yeshukah, Gadol, Yeshukah.